So, not long until we embark on life outside the EU, and we've still not got absolute clarity about what that will look like. We do, however, know quite a lot, and some businesses are as prepared as they can be, but others less so, and understandably so, as we've all been responding to the global pandemic that's taken centre stage. The time for all of us to prepare has quickly evaporated, and so if you are not feeling as prepared as you'd like to be, we've asked some lawyers from different specialisms to come together and share with you some thoughts of practical things your business can do in the first 100 days after 1st January. Supply chains are something we all depend upon. We're used to just-in-time delivery and goods arriving on our doorstep from all over the world, not just the EU. As the UK leaves the single market and seeks to negotiate our own deals with other countries, how should a company rethink its supply chain?
So a key area for supply chain management is looking at your source of supply, and that actually is looking at the location of your suppliers, whether that's within the EU or beyond, such as Canada, Asia, Australia. We recommend you do a supplier mapping exercise and looking at your tier 1, tier 2 and tier 3 suppliers to ensure resilience, and make sure that you've got opportunities to negotiate or perhaps share the burden of any financial implications of the trade deals that are ultimately agreed.
That covers receiving goods then, but what if you're a manufacturer in someone else's supply chain, trying to get your goods into the EU or the UK? Is there anything different that you need to do?
The most important thing we think is to think about conformity assessment, the CE marking. If you export to the EU, does that process need to change? If you place on the market in the UK, are you in position to deal with UK CA markings being affixed? Do you have those processes sorted out? And that's what people are asking us.
There's another kind of mark that businesses need to think about too: trademarks and designs, which once were managed at the European level, but that's no longer the case.
Any clients that have EU trademarks, they're unlikely to apply in the UK moving forward. As far as registered EU trademarks are concerned, they will be cloned, and so there will be equivalent UK registered design created, so nothing needs to be done. But the key point is if you've got any applications which are still pending because they've not been examined or they're being opposed, action needs to be taken within 9 months following the end of the transition period. If you don't take action, it's going to make it harder for you to enforce your rights. You may find yourself spending significant money trying to get those rights back and preventing others from doing it.
We also need to be alive to the storage and movement of personal data. You might think that because we're sticking to GDPR rules, you don't need to do anything. But the EU now treats us as a third country, which has implications.
Work out where you've got data transfers, international data transfers that weren't treated as international data transfers before. So if that's customer data flowing across border because you've got a pan-European supply chain, or whether that's HR data because you've got group companies or operations in both territories, those transfers will be treated as needing extra steps to be gone through from a data protection perspective. It doesn't need to be a big sort of onerous, time-intensive task, but it does need addressing to make sure that you're not exposing the business to new and unnecessary risk.
Related to the issue around data is, of course, technology, and many European suppliers and customers of technology are facing disruption. How then should we manage our relationship with tech going forward?
So one of the things that you can do at the moment is consider whether the contracts that you might have in place from a technology point of view might be impacted significantly by Brexit at the end of the year. And one of the ways that they might be impacted is by the other counterparty looking to take advantage of clauses like force majeure or material adverse change provisions. Or certainly in the last 12 months, we've seen a lot of Brexit clauses coming in that basically give rise to the ability to terminate the agreement or to change the financials in those agreements.
Changing and terminating agreements, of course, can have a big impact on finance and a business's ability to keep cash in its bank account. This can have a knock-on effect on relationships with lenders.
the fallout from Brexit is really in relation to cash flow and whether there are any implications on your business's cash flow. This might be, for example, because you will be finding it difficult to service your existing facilities or ultimately need more cash. You need to really preempt those issues by checking your facility agreements and seeing what the implications are of Brexit. And if there are any, then speaking to your bankers about whether there are any waivers or amendments or emergency funding that would be available to you.
It might not be your own cash flow you need to worry about, of course, at least not directly. Suppliers, customers, and even opponents in litigation could all face their own cash woes, which may affect how you choose to handle disputes.
So it's going to be really important to assess the impact of Brexit on your opponent. Are they going to be able to satisfy a judgment if you get one? Can they meet your settlement expectations anymore? Can they even deliver the services or goods you're expecting? For those disputes that have not yet arisen and don't feature in your continuity plans, it's about knowing where to turn to and how to get some help.
Last but certainly not least, no video about Brexit would be complete if we didn't mention free movement of people. That ends on 1st January, which means recruiting new workers from Europe is about to change.
The key issue is whether your organisation needs to apply for a sponsorship licence. It's important because free movement of people will end on the 31st of December 2020. From the 1st of January 2021, EU, EEA and Swiss nationals arriving in the UK will be subject to the new points-based immigration system. This means there will be a one-size-fits-all approach for hiring EEA and non-EEA nationals from this date. Without a sponsorship licence, your business will not be able to recruit those skilled workers from outside of the UK.
So there you have it then, a selection of practical tips and suggestions for the first 100 days outside of the EU. I hope you found it helpful, and if you want to speak to any of us about the issues we've raised, you can find contact details on our website or email us on brexit@anstey.com.